The Trump-era policy, Title 42, ended last week, and every day thousands of illegal immigrants are crossing into the US, causing havoc in border towns, and increasingly the impact is being felt elsewhere as busloads of illegal arrivals are sent to cities like New York, Chicago and Los Angeles. This week, Newsweek reported New York hotels are evicting homeless veterans to house migrants in their place, in a move that has angered veteran rights activists. And in Chicago, in an area where Biden won around 90% of the vote, local residents are not happy about illegal immigrants taking their resources.
All these resources that have not come to us, now you want to overly compensate for people who never lived here before, and we need to be taken care of first and foremost before anything else happens here. Yes.
Why would any leader put our black communities already riddled with crime at further risk by placing unvetted non-taxpayers steps away from our seniors, our children, and our homes we've worked so hard on our own to secure?
Ooh, the bigotry. Joining me now from New York is filmmaker Ami Horowitz. Ami, thank you for your time. New York and Chicago are sanctuary cities. Their residents voted for this insanity. Why are they complaining?
Oh, the irony is thick, Rita. The irony is thick. Turnaround is fair play. You know, it's so funny. First of all, I love the political theater of Abbott and other border states sending their illegals up north, because all that did was it forced them to say the quiet part out loud. They sound like conservatives. We don't want people who they sound like Trump. We don't want to cause illegals causing crime in our cities. You know, it's so funny. They're a sanctuary city, but, you know, Mayor Adams is reopening a jail to house the illegals. It's incredible. You wouldn't believe me if it wasn't true. You know, and then he's, of course, even better, he's regifting the illegals up north to upstate New York. He is now shuttling them out of New York State. They're freaking out, Rita, over thousands of migrants when the border towns and border states have to deal with millions of migrants. It's incredible. You know, nothing is better, though, when Lori Lightfoot said it's inhumane to send illegals to Chicago. Yes, it is, because you've destroyed that city. Probably. And they shouldn't be put there. But it's more inhumane if you make them watch the Chicago White Sox play, Lori Lightfoot.
Some of those illegal immigrants might want to go back if they see the crime rate in places like Chicago. It is not doing well at all. Like you said, Ami, New York is carrying a much smaller burden than those border towns, particularly in Texas. We've seen more than 2 million cross illegally each year under Joe Biden, but New York only took around 60,000 last year. They've taken around 4,000 in the past week. Other than putting them in prison or in hotels, where are they going? Who's helping them?
I mean, they're just joining the ranks of the homeless. I mean, if you walk around the streets of Manhattan, you see illegals. Certainly in my neighborhood, the Upper West Side, you see illegals sitting on park benches, lying on the street. No, they're doing very badly. It's another example and another way of exposing the failure of left-wing policies and the failure of left-wing mayors all across America. You know, I want to go back quickly to what you had mentioned before. I think it bears drilling down a little bit. They're literally kicking homeless veterans out of hotels and replacing them with migrants, which tracks with the left because they prize illegals more than they prize people who serve their country. And they're incentivizing these hotels by paying them $100 a night extra to house the illegal immigrants, and the average hotel price that this is costing the city is $198 per night, which, by the way, is not nothing. That's a pretty hefty hotel price for any American anywhere in this country. So who's paying for it? I'm paying for it. The American taxpayers are paying for it, Rita.
But in New York, in Chicago, you keep voting for these policies. You keep voting for the Democrats in huge numbers. And you know what? Elections have consequences. We weren't having anything like this happening under Trump as far as the illegal immigrants coming in on that southern border. Now, I want to move on to this firestorm around Twitter owner Elon Musk. He accused fellow billionaire George Soros of hating humanity. Now, we know George Soros is a very controversial figure, one of the Democrats' biggest financial donors. He's funded a lot of far-left, soft-on-crime district attorneys across the US. And Elon was asked about why he posted that comment and the cost of sharing views like that.
You said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like, when you do something like that, do you
I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it? Especially, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you, advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you? Why not just say, hey, I think this. You can tell me. We can talk about it over there. You can tell your friends. But why share it widely?
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want.
You absolutely are, but I'm trying to understand why you do, because you have to know it's got a. It puts you in the middle of the partisan divide in the country. It makes you a lightning rod for criticism. I mean, do you like that? People today saying he's an anti-Semite. I don't think you are.
That accusation of anti-Semitism, I mean, you're Jewish. Surely you don't think that any criticism of George Soros is motivated by anti-Semitism?
In fact, it makes me sick when people throw that out. It's the same thing when people call people racist for nothing. It just cheapens the word. And that's what you're doing with anti-Semitism. You're cheapening what true anti-Semitism is by accusing somebody who's just criticizing somebody who happens to be Jewish. I mean, it's like saying, why wouldn't you then criticize any left-winger who attacked, Sheldon Adelson, who's a Jewish billionaire, who he was attacked left and right while he was alive, or Ron Lauder, who he's attacked currently. Is that also anti-Semitic? I don't think it is. I think you have a right to criticize somebody. Now, if he said he's doing it because he's Jewish, that's a different story. That's not what he was doing. No, it's a horrific thing. I hate that accusation. The ADL, which, by the way, has really been an organization that has fallen off the tracks years ago. Jonathan Greenblatt is despicable in my case, and the way I view him. And although I have to say, the tweet he did say to ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, and I believe the tweet was, "Hey, Jonathan Greenblatt, stop defaming me, and I think you should drop the A from your name." I thought that was brilliant, so true. And look,
so good.
And by the way, I happen to think George Soros has every right in the world to fund anybody he wants. He's an American citizen. He can fund who he wants. I have no issue with that. I think he's damaging to our country, damaging to the world, which I think is what Elon Musk was getting at, which I think is perfectly appropriate. It's totally within bounds.
Absolutely. The impact that man has had has been enormous. And if you ask me, almost all of it negative. But it was interesting in that discussion that it was suggested that he should keep his opinions to himself because they are polarising, they might upset the advertisers. But that seems to only be true if you want to express a centre-right opinion. If you're a prominent person, whether you're a businessman, an athlete, anybody, if you want to express a very left-leaning opinion, that's perfectly okay. But if you go anywhere to the right of centre, then you're reckless. I mean, that's surely not healthy, Ami.
No, it's not, and you're exactly right. The criticism only goes one way, and that's par for the course. Look, I happen to, and he's perfectly within his right to say I'm willing to lose money for my beliefs. I happen to think that if you're a businessman, you should go by what, if you remember, Michael Jordan famously said when they asked him, how come you don't support Democrats? You're a black person. He said, Republicans buy shoes too. He's exactly right. I happen to think businesses in general should stay out of politics. I think they're better off economically. They should be looking out for the interests of their shareholders. But if Elon Musk wants to lose market share and wants to lose some money, more power to him. Who am I to say don't do it?
Well, it's worth remembering that he is no right-wing ideologue. He voted for Joe Biden, and I think he also donated money to Hillary's campaign back in 2016. So I think he's been, as the kids call it, red-pilled. Ami Horowitz, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Always a pleasure, Rita. Thank you.